Right, that's enough about rules and all that sort of stuff. I never really like talking about them, but it's necessary. Let's get into the exciting bit, the good bit, the game. How's the game going to work? Right then, I've got a map, a game map here. You might want to refer to that on one of the other pages. What you've got on this map here is you've got the camping area, all in this area, greyed off area here. Then you've got the staging in this yellow part at the top here. Everyone will enter the game from the staging area down this road here. Now, what we've got is actually a very, very sophisticated way of running this game. I'm really pleased. I think it's quite clever. In the top of the church is out of bounds, and right at the top of the church is a control room, and that's where our game control will be. In that control room is a bank of TV monitors and computers, and we'll have CCTV feeds from all over the site coming into that room. We're also equipped there with a military spec licensed radio system, and the audio as well, to control the audio for the site. Now from there we can see the entire site from our vantage point up there, and we've got all the video feeds as well. Now what we've done is we set up 5 respawn points across the site, which are here, here, and here, roughly equidistant amongst the site. Now the respawn points will be an electronic light stick, so with a flick of a switch we can change it from high intensity red to high intensity blue. Each respawn area will be a little netted area, so players can go in and you can get respawn without being shot down. Now, from our vantage point at the top of the church here, we'll be able to completely control the game using the electronic respawns, using all the video footage that we've got coming in, and using the communication with our staff. So what that means is we can flick the switch and make any of these respawns red or blue. That allows us to break up the game if we want to, and it also allows us to filter out of the town one team over another. So I'll give you an example. Using this pretty sophisticated way of running the game via the electronic respawns, that allows us to play the game from top to bottom, north to south. We can play it left to right, east to west. We can mix it all up so it becomes a fantastic, wonderful mess. Or what we can do is, for example, we can switch all the respawns here to red. Now what that means is over a period of time, roughly half an hour, all the blue players will be filtered out of the game area, and you'll be stuck in the staging area, and because there's no respawns in there you won't be able to get back into the game. That's a natural way for us to filter out all the blues out of the town, and then what that allows us to do is set up a massive attack and defend, where reds will be defending the town and blues won't be. Sure, you'll get a few blues stranded in there, you know, caught in a building somewhere, but those guys will become instant legends anyway, and small annoying pockets of a resistance. And of course what we can do after doing that, we can then flick all the respawns to blue if we want, and again over a half an hour or so period, reds will be filtered out of the town, and we can set up another attack and defend, or we can play the game this way, that way, north, south, whatever we want to do. So it's a very sophisticated way of running the game. It'll be run from the control room at the top of the church, and it gives us complete and utter flexibility. What it means though is that only we can change the respawns. Players are not to change the respawns. If players start messing about with the respawns, that can make that can cock the whole system up. But using this system should mean that we don't get static lines, unless that's something that we want to happen, and it gives us complete flexibility as to the sort of games that we want to play at any given point in time. Right, let's get into the game itself. This game is going to be multi-layered, okay? What multi-layered, UK players will be used to this because I use this sort of phraseology all the time. What I mean by multi-layered is that there's not just one objective, there's various layers of objectives. So what that means is you can have hundreds of guys playing on one layer and other guys operating on completely different missions with completely different objectives, but still in the same area. And sometimes we stack as many as 5 or 6 layers for some of the more sophisticated games that we do. With this one, we're going to keep it reasonably simple, and there'll be a 3-layer or triple layer game. So the first layer, let's get down to it. The first layer will see every single player get something, we call it a PMC, a player or personal mission card. Now what a PMC is, it'll actually be smaller. This is a blown up version of it. This idea, I should say, belongs to Andy Sables, and he's kindly given me permission to use it, and it's a fantastic idea and it'll work very, very well. Right, your PMC, when you register you'll be given your PMC, which is a card. It'll actually only be A6 size, and on the reverse of it will be a game map, so it'll be quite handy. This is a blown up version. On your PMC you write your name and your faction, and then there's 9 different boxes, square boxes around the edges and the bottom here. Those 9 boxes correspond to 9 different buildings in the town, and this is all on your player map. They're designated by a green dot. Okay, so there's 9 buildings in the town, and there's 9 squares on your PMC. And what you need to do is every single player, that wants to anyway, needs to go to each of the 9 buildings, and in the 9 buildings, on the very uppermost floor, they'll find what looks like a hole punch. Okay, and that hole punch, there's 9 different shapes, holes that they cut. And what the player needs to do is, if he goes to, for example, building number 11, he goes to the uppermost floor, he finds the hole punch, and he punches his PMC card with that. Then he needs to go on to building number 18 and do the same there until he's filled up his card and got all 9 holes punched. Once he's done that, he goes back to his HQ and he drops that in the box for his faction. Once you've completed a card, you can then get another card. And so on and so on. Now, the more cards you get, the more points your faction will score, and not only your faction but also your side as well. So you'll be earning points if you're a red player and you're in the Spetsnaz. You'll be earning points for your Spetsnaz faction. You'll also be earning points for your red team as well, and those points will be feed in to see who wins at the end of the game, and also to see which is the best of the 4 factions. But there's something very, very cool over and above that as well. Is every time a player drops a completed PMC into the box, they get entered into a competition. Now, all of the prizes for this event, quite often prizes are chucked out to the youngest player, fattest player, most ugly player, whatever it might be. But with this one, every single player is going to earn the prize. So every time you complete a PMC, drop it in the box, all the completed PMCs at the end of the event will go into a hat, and every single prize that we give away will be based on pulling a PMC out of the hat. So the more PMCs you complete, the more chances you get of winning. Let me give you an idea of just some of these prizes. The prizes are fantastic. There's going to be guns, there's going to be masks, there's going to be clothing, there's going to be paint, there's going to be this, that and the other. There's even going to be paintball trips to France and various other countries as well, all expenses paid, okay? And there's going to be several of these fantastic prizes worth thousands and thousands of pounds. So it's in your interest as a player to complete as many PMCs as you possibly can and keep putting them in the box, because the more you do, the more chances you get of winning. And the prize pool is absolutely fantastic. On top of that, you're obviously earning points for your faction, and you're also earning points for your side as well. However, what you won't be able to do is you won't be able to take out 10 PMC cards at the same time and get them all stamped. You'll only be given a new PMC card when you hand in a completed one. So that's the first layer. That will be going on constantly. So you might have guys in the middle of the night, 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to sneak into building 7 or whatever to get their card punched. And you know, you'll have guys doing it in the middle of this massive raging battles as well. So that'll be the first layer, and that'll carry on for the whole 50 odd hours that the game runs. Right, and the second layer of the game is going to be about territory. So what we'll do is, throughout the 50 odd hours that the game is running for, we'll give the faction leaders or the HQs a heads up. So we will say the time is now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to do a territory sweep. And what that means is Game Control will sweep the entire site and take an audit of how many buildings each team holds, and they'll earn big points for those. So there'll be predetermined times which the HQs will be aware of, and it'll be all about territory. Whichever team holds the most buildings, the most territory, will earn more points for that. And it might even be time-based as well, so however long they hold each building after that point will earn them points as well. The exact details will be given to the HQs, they'll be fully aware of it in plenty of time, but layer 2 will be about the more real estate, the more of the town that you own, the more points your team will be earning. Right, then the third layer. Now this is where all the proper sexy stuff takes place. The third layer, a large part of TCK will be to put the generals and the faction leaders under significant amounts of pressure. Clearly they're going to be tired, they're going to be hungry, they might be wet and cold towards the end of the event, but we'll keep on piling on the pressure to see how they perform. Layer 3 is all about testing each faction and each side's communications, organisation, strategy, and all this sort of stuff. So what will happen is there'll be a constant stream of special missions coming in all the time. Now the HQs or the faction leaders won't know when they're coming. It might be that they get one every 3 minutes for an hour, or they might get none for 5 hours. They'll never know. So they'll be delivered by surprise, and it's up to them to react, and most of them will be time-based. But this is where all the sexy stuff that we've got for the event will be coming in. And we have, I'm not joking, when we've got 40 or 50 of these already, and we're coming up with new ones every day. What I'll do, I've got a list here of just a few, and I'll run through them to give you an example, a flavour of the sort of thing that we'll be talking about. And these will all be fed into the HQs, which will then be implemented with you players on the ground. So, for example, one of them will be in one of the houses, in the tunnels, because a lot of the houses are connected with underground tunnels and stuff. So there'll be a prisoner in an orange jumpsuit, and so each team will be given a mission. They'll be told, right, there's a prisoner, escaped prisoner, he's in the town. It might be a downed pilot. He's in an orange jumpsuit. You need to locate him. When you've located him, you need to secure him. And then what you need to do is call in your QRF to extract him. And to do that, you need to get the message back to the QRF. They'll come piling into town with the Humvees, brassing the place up. You'll probably be blowing smoke, blue or red smoke, so they can identify the house. You need to bundle the player into the prisoner into the Humvees. And then you'd be extracting him out. We might even bring in the UAVs as part of that. So the UAVs will identify which building the prisoner's been secured in using the smoke, and then that will be relayed to the QRF. But basically involve finding, securing, calling in the QRF, and then extracting. And if at any point the prisoner gets shot by the opposing team, obviously that's next game over. Other ones, we've got a mortar mission where we've got 8 mortar twos, which are firing smoke grenades from 100 meters away. So we've got a couple of different mortar missions, but it might involve, for example, we go to the blue team and we say, right, you need to deploy your mortar team immediately, and you need to get a total of 30 rounds onto the roof of building 22, for example. And you've got a 5-minute head start. So that team buggers off, gets the mortar team, starts, and we give them a 5-minute head start. And then we go into the other team and we say, right, there's a mortar team on the ground. You need to identify where they are. You need to protect building 33. They'll be launching mortars from a distance of 50 meters plus away, and you need to identify, find them and neutralize them. So what you'll find is you'll have a mortar team running into town, setting up mortars. They'll have enough time to get off 4 or 5 mortars before they come under attack, in which case they'll have to pack up the mortars, run to another part of town, launch some more over, and the other team will constantly be playing cat and mouse, trying to identify where they are and protect that building. So that's one of the mortar ones. In the night games, we'll certainly have this laser designators. So from the game control in the top of the church, we'll use red or blue lasers to identify certain houses during the night. It'll be high intensity lasers, so you see them shining onto a house, and each team will have to try and occupy and secure that house as quickly as possible. Some of the others, you have to protect and destroy tanks. We've got magnetic C4 charges with pyro on, so one team will have to get the magnetic charges onto the hulks of some of the tanks around, and the other teams will have to stop them, and when they go off, they'll go off with a nice big bang. There'll be the Lord Mayor will be executing prisoners in the town square, so one team will have to stop that, the other team will have to make sure it happens. There'll be sniper missions in the wood blocks and in the attics, so you'll have to identify snipers, and snipers will be getting special missions with extra points to take out faction leaders. There'll be airdrops. We've got Milan missile cases, huge things, they weigh a ton, so we'll be dropping those into the town, and they'll be filled with goodies. Might be full of sandwiches or paint or pyro or whatever, and so each team will be told where they are, and you'll have to get down and secure them, and you can help yourself to whatever's inside. All around the town there'll be money, so you'll be collecting up money. There'll be a bank, so there'll be bank robbery missions. There'll be sewer rat missions where guys are fighting through the sewers. We'll have a radio station which we need protecting and blowing up at various different points. We'll be using the UAVs as well to feedback missions, so it might be that you're trying to locate a certain person or a certain artifact using their UAVs. There are literally dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of these, and we'll be feeding them in constantly to the faction leaders. They're all worth points, and this points will be totting up throughout the time, and how they react and how they prosecute those will determine who wins the game. Some of them I'm not allowed to say yet because it gives too much away, but they're proper really sexy stuff.